Hello, greetings, Paper Demons. Welcome to the Paper Dispatch on this April 15th, 2025 afternoon. Excited to talk to you all about some new stuff that's coming to Paper Demon. For those of you who are new to our community, welcome. And if you're not familiar with Paper Demon is an online art role-playing game where you draw your original characters, battling monsters, going on quests, and you make new friends, drawing each other's OCs. So hello to Art Beetle, Suki, Unlikely Valentine, Eclipse. Welcome to the chat and to the stream. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some stuff that I'm working on for updating the Paper Demon website. I'm going to share with you what we have now and some issues that exist right now with the Paper Demon website, and explain why I'm redesigning and sharing a draft of what I have. Sorry, my phone, every time my phone buzzes, it distracts me. Okay, so let's see. If you're new, before I forget, if you're new to Paper Demon and you're just watching the stream and you've never heard of us before and you want to learn more about the Paper Demon art role-playing game, you could click a link in the description to learn more about Paper Demon. It'll take you to this page that explains more about how the Paper Demon art RPG works. We also have a nice fun video here. Paper Demon is free. And it's a great way to make friends and to get inspired to create, because our mission is to help inspire you to create awesome art and have fun with your original characters. Okay, so let's get into today's topic, and want to let you know, I really would like your honest feedback here, because I think a lot of people, when a big change comes to a website, people don't like change. And I understand why. You get familiar with something for being the way that it is for a while, but there are very real problems with the existing website that we do need to fix. Hey, Cool Caius and C. Pran, welcome to the stream. So this is what the website looks like right now. Let me scale this back like this. So on desktop, we have this sidebar here, which takes you to a lot of stuff dealing with your own account. And in order to get to navigation of the actual game itself and game content, you either need to look at what the latest events are here, or you need to click on this link that says Paper Demon Art RPG, and then you get this nav here at the top. So this nav, which is kind of like the primary navigation for the game, you don't see it on all pages. And just to show you what this looks like on mobile, let me close this tab. If you're on mobile, there are a few quick links here, just like on desktop, and it shows you what the current boss fight is and stuff and events. But when you click on this bar and it gives you my characters, the inn and stuff like that, and you click on Paper Demon Art RPG, then you kind of get this second nav here. So there's one at the top and then there's another one here, but this second one, which actually has a lot of the primary game navigation and information about the game, is only on some pages. And so part of the reason that we designed it this way is because for a long while we hosted other, how do I close this? Hold on. For a long while we hosted other art RPGs on the Paper Demon website. So we had kind of this top level navigation of the all of Paper Demon, and then this secondary sub nav that was for the game itself. And as we announced 6 months ago, we've decided to stop hosting other games. That went into effect on April 1st, or March. Sucks that it was on April 1st. It's not an April Fool's joke, to be clear. We gave our the art RPGs that hosted with us, we gave them 6 months notice to let them know, hey, you gotta find a new place to host your games. So now that we're not hosting other games, that gives us an opportunity to really like rather than make PaperDemon Art RPG a sub thing of PaperDemon, just make it all PaperDemon. It's all PaperDemon. You come to PaperDemon, it's the game itself is front and center, and you can easily access the content. And I think also some feedback I've gotten is like some of the guides is like most people don't even come to the guides page, and there's a lot of like really critical information here that people need to know about. Like, for example, like seeing what all the portals are is not even part of the main navigation here, and it probably should. So, and just one more thing to show you on mobile, what we currently have. We do have this bar at the bottom, which kind of takes you like quick links to the inn. The inn is like the main place where you can see what your progress is in the tutorial, what your overall game progress is, what the gift of the day is, what your character's health is, and some quick links to game content and stuff like that. So the inn is kind of like your space as a player. Like, hey, this is what is specific to you as a player. The homepage of the whole website is like, hey, this is what's going on in the community. These are the events. Let me close this. It's better on desktop. This is all the artwork people are creating. I'm going to add on here a section that shows all the newest characters. Oh yeah, another problem is that the main homepage of the website, which shows latest stuff going on, is very similar to the art RPG homepage. So we've got kind of two pages doing the same thing. Both of them are showing the latest events. Now, this one shows the latest characters while the main homepage doesn't. So I'm changing the main homepage. I'm actually getting rid of this page entirely and moving latest characters to the homepage. We also have the leaderboard. I'm moving the leaderboard to a separate page that'll be linked in the nav. Sorry, I feel like I'm covering a lot of stuff. So sorry if this is confusing. I just kind of want to give you some context of like, hey, these are all the problems with the website that we need to fix. We got some feedback that having the leaderboard so visible can be kind of an unhealthy thing. I'm interested in what people think of that. So that's going to move to a separate page. It also shows the latest art that people have created, which is also already on the homepage. There is a slight difference between what's here and what's on the homepage in that this is restricted to stuff that's tagged and was submitted to a queue. Whereas the homepage is absolutely everything people submitted, which made sense when we hosted other games. Again, this has to do with hosting other games. Like if you're playing one of the other games on the website, you would go to their group page and you'd only see art people created when playing that game. But now we're the only game on here. So we'll just change it to just show everything. Hopefully that gives some context. So I'm going to show you a draft of what I'm working on. And just so you know, that the data that is in there is all test data. You might even see some user submissions in there because I was testing bugs and stuff. So some of the guides and stuff are there's broken links or there's nothing there. So just keep in mind that like it's a test, it's going to be a test server and nothing that's in there is real data. If that makes sense. Okay, so here's what I'm currently working on. Let me change the screen size here. So what you'll notice is that there's no more sidebar. And instead I have this bottom link that is basically supposed to be like all of your stuff as a player. So you get to the inn and you can see, let me make this bigger actually. Enhance. I think that's probably better for the stream. I have a really high resolution screen, so there's what used to be on the sidebar has now been condensed to just a few links or 6 links. You guys won't even see this last one, so it's just going to be 5 links because this one here is moderation tools, so only mods are going to see this one. But it has links for the inn, the shop, submitting, characters, and inventory. And I feel like shop probably doesn't have to be here because it's not your stuff particularly, but let's be real. If I have a nice shiny shop icon, maybe people will click it and buy things. Yeah, submit. I probably should change this icon. I'm just reusing the, what is this called? The dragonfly quill, I think it's called. So yeah, I actually would love to make this more prominent and make it like a big orange or green button or something. Make it bigger than all the other ones and make it right in the center. You'll also notice that there's this bar here of like your name and your currencies and your cart, your shopping cart, and a logout link. So this is kind of also serving a similar purpose to what was up here in the upper left. And on the old website, you also saw something similar only when you were on the official PaperDemon Art RPG pages. So this thing here, it's kind of replacing this. So also on the new site, oh, let's see, we've got some comments here. Shop is already at the top, so it's a little redundant. Yeah, it is. That is a good point. Having more links to things where people buy stuff, not the most terrible idea, but yes, okay. Shop redundant. That's a good point anyway. The 2 links are different, which I need to fix. But what I have right now in this new navigation, I've actually put some of the main guide links into this navigation. So as you guys know, the guides page, if we look at the current live guides page, there's tons of content in here. Like if you were a new player and you came into the game and you're coming here, it's like, where the hell do I look? There's too much stuff here. If you've been around for a long time and you're looking for something very specific, this is great. You can come in here and you can find a lot of stuff. But if you're a new player, you don't know what's important here. So let's see, what else? I just wish there wouldn't be menus at the bottom, but that's just me having my taskbar vertical for 14 years probably. Everything on the bottom is in the way for me. Yeah, if you have a suggestion for another way to do this, I'm open to that. Okay, and as someone who lives in the inn and my character sheets, it's personally very nice to see little quick links at the bottom. Links to both. Yeah, I feel like people go to their characters and inventory pages a lot, which is why I wanted to have that as like a nav at the bottom. I could also change it so that it only pops up on desktop if you hover down, but I don't know how annoying that would be. But just to show you the navigation, I have sub navigation now. So things are a little bit more, organized. So adventure is going to include things like, here's a list of all the announcements. Here's all the portals. So remember I talked about like portals, like seeing a list of all the portals and knowing a summary of what all of them are. Like that's a thing that people probably want to reference a lot. Seeing all the character development challenges on one page, all the quests, all the campaigns, link to crafting. I apologize. Some of these have parentheses around them, that just means it's like a placeholder. Like I'm gonna have a campaign link there, but I haven't written it yet, if that makes sense. Queues, a list of activities. So right now we don't have a page that just like tells you, hey, these are all the things that are open all the time and have no deadlines. So things like non-challenge character art, the harbor, the gift harbor, or what's it called? Yeah, the staff art gifts harbor. We've got a bunch of other stuff like that that we've made and is open, but no one knows about because it's not new. Yeah, making it appear on hover would probably not be good. Yeah. And on mobile, I have to make it always present because there's no such thing as hover on mobile. Okay. Community would be here. So seeing all player characters, the art gallery, the writing gallery, the leaderboard, the forums, the Discord, the community guidelines. So all this stuff that's like, hey, this is stuff that players created, and having it all organized in one nav kind of made sense to me. And then guides. So like kind of the most important guides that people would want to know, and then maybe have those sublinks link off to different things. Information about character mechanics or characters, mechanics, battles, how crafting works, a list of all of our lore, the item compendium, help, how to get help, and a big link. That this link would basically go to that guides page that I showed earlier, this thing with all the guides in it. So if there's something that's not in the main nav, it would go there. So this is a pretty big like reorganization of things. I also have this nice little effect. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like kind of like a, on the header. It's like a, can you guys see that? You like that? Nice and juicy. Kind of creates like this, almost like a depth, like a parallax effect. Moi? Okay, the banner at the top is moi. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Are the drop downs hover only? No, they're click. And I did that because of mobile as well. Oh, let me show you what it looks like on mobile. I didn't actually show you that yet. Forgive all the errors that are showing up in the console. Okay, so on mobile, it's a very simple hamburger nav. They call this a hamburger. Boop. You expand it, and then each of these expands with more links, just like the desktop nav. So it's all the same content, but it's, you click it and it expands with more stuff. Again, all the same links. It doesn't have anything pretty to it with the design at the moment. I'm probably just going to keep it simple like this. Maybe add some icons. I don't know. And your player information, your username is here, but it doesn't have your currencies and stuff. I'm just kind of condensing it. And again, at the bottom, you have these quick links here. For a regular player, it's not going to be cut off like this. It's only for mods because there's this extra link here for mods. I could take this out real quick so you can see it. So for regular players, you will have 4 links here. Maybe I have to add inventory here and take out shop, because I think you can get the inventory by clicking on your username and then going to items, which I should rename this to inventory instead of items. That would make sense. This is what the inn looks like on mobile. I'm also working on adding a few like nicer design elements that are kind of like Celtic inspired, just to kind of dress things up a little bit. I think I'm going to change all the typography too. I'm going to change to new fonts. I have some other like fantasy fonts I want to change the site to. Tablet, depending on the exact size of the tablet, will also be hamburger. Oh, this is a bug. That's not supposed to do that. Okay, I gotta fix that. It's supposed to be like the mobile nav. Yeah, what the hell is this? What the hell is this mess? That's a bug. That is a bug. Okay, I will fix that. Okay. Overlays, my beloved. Okay, Cool Kai says, I love the effect in the header, such a pretty detail. It's all good, Art Beetle says, great. Now I want a hamburger. Yes, hamburgers are yummy. Yeah, I saw another art RPG site that had like, it was very well designed and I am very inspired by it. And they had some really nice typography choices there. And I want to change it to a serif font. Something more like fantasy themed. If you have custom fonts specified in your coding, it should still remain cPran. And by the way, custom CSS for profiles is coming soon. I have to figure out how to best do it for characters. One other thing you'll notice, this is one of those sub pages of the Art RPG group. Pretty much everything that was at the header, which was like that nav and it's saying PaperDemon Art RPG. This stuff here is all gone because it's replaced by this new nav. And what's nice about this is we can do some nicer designs for our guides. I started working on one. Here we go. So I started kind of working on a guide. Of like introducing, this is a draft. Some of it's a little messy, so I apologize. But we can do like these full width banners on the guides now. Because on what we had before, we couldn't do that. So I think it feels like, I don't know, more visually interesting if we could do stuff like this. So that's also another reason for the change. Okay, cPran says, I specifically don't have custom fonts. I've just used the existing header boxes. Okay, so I'll still make those header boxes work. I just might change the background image and the font for them so it will look different. Does the bottom nav vanish if you squish the screen? Okay, so on mobile, it's still there. It's just, let me take this link out because this is the moderator one. It's just condensed. So this is most likely what it'll look like on mobile. Oh yeah, making fonts accessible for dyslexic. Yeah, I can get feedback on that. Let me see if I can find links for the fonts that I'm planning on using. Give me a moment here. Okay. So I think I was thinking of using this one for body text. It actually reads pretty well. And I'll have to actually code it in and try it out. Gold Pikachu asks, will Martis be getting an update as well, just like art-wise? Do you think he should get one? We could do that. He does like visual design-wise kind of look a lot different than the other characters. I would like to, you know what, I'll show you what I was thinking of doing. I was thinking of changing all of the NPC art to match the assist art. So all of the assists, sorry, it's pixelated, but all of the assists have like this nice Celtic border on them. They just look really nice. But most of the NPCs, when you see them on the site, they don't have a nice border or anything. Marchus is probably one of the nicer looking ones because he kind of has this like circle behind him. But a lot of the other ones like aren't. It's just his portrait. It doesn't have a border or anything. Oh, random banner of different portals. I like that. Custom themes to change the banner up top based on other portals would be really cool. Were you thinking like players would customize that, or you mean like this would change depending on which portal you were your characters visiting, or based on where you specify your account is located? Or were you thinking like whatever portal is currently featured on the website? Because we are planning to relaunch Avantgarde, for example. So changing it to Avantgarde while we're running an Avantgarde event would make sense. Okay, so maybe like a premium account feature where you can change to a different portal if you wanted. Marta staying the same would be funny given how old the dude is. Site themes is a big plus for me on Neopets. I'd love to understand more about that. Is that like just like making the experience more enjoyable and customized for you as a player? Like you want to be able to swap things out to keep it fresh because you're spending a lot of time on the website. If you're willing to create a thank you for the feedback, Unlikely Valentine. If you have the time to create a new thread in the suggestion box on Discord and take some screenshots of some stuff that you've seen in Neopets that you like, that would be cool. Because then I kind of get an idea. Because I don't play anything like Neopets, so seeing what other people do is kind of helpful for like what you have in mind. Oh, they're unlockable. Oh, okay. Okay. So maybe if you complete, for example, if your character completes an Eventide challenge, you would get an item that unlocks access to the Eventide theme. Yeah, exactly, cool Kaias. You unlock a portal site theme for doing a specific portal. Interesting. Okay, Cpran says, I'm not against changing fonts for titles, but I feel like the body text for articles and stuff should be sans serif. It needs to be clear since there's a lot of text. Okay. So what we could do, there's a couple ways we can handle this. We could just use these fonts for headings as you suggested. This one I was thinking of for buttons. Just for buttons. I think it looks really nice for calls to action. And then maybe this one for headings. What I could do is only use this body text font on official guides. So your submissions and stuff will stay as the current font, which is Railway. It's called Railway. If I search in here, it'll show it. So this is the font that's currently used for body text on the website. So I could keep submissions and everything like this. And I could open up like a CSS class. So if you guys wanted to use the other font, you can. But I was thinking like official body text and everything, I want it to be these new fonts. This one mainly for body text. I think this would look really good for body text. Fel DW Pika is unreadable. Oh. Darn. Okay. Milagna. I don't know if this font works for body text, but type tester. Some of the issue might just be density too, like the line height. Double. Here we go. I'll reach out to Zach and I'll see. Yeah, I think we need to test out the fonts. Part of what might be unreadable about this could be the line height. See, this is really hard to read because the line height is small. Where's the thing for testing the here type tester? So like I absolutely would do large line height. They're all hard to read. Okay, damn it. I want my creative freedom. Okay. Got it. Accessibility is important. I mean, could we, like this font size too? I mean, we may not do it that small. Like if we compare to what we have here, this is zoomed in. Okay, so this is 100% what the text looks like now, right? So if we were to match this preview to the same font size, because some of the legibility issue is just that the font previewed here is smaller, right? And the line height. So if I change this to bigger font, I wonder if that makes it better, if it's still accessible. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm sure it's also hard too when you're looking at a live stream, right? Because you're not seeing how it actually looks on your screen. Because my monitor is high density. So you're seeing like a shrunk version of what it'll actually be like in your experience when you're viewing it. So I probably have to send out some screenshots or maybe even upload and update the website and then just change it within a day after user feedback. That might be the easiest way to do it after getting an initial set of feedback. That way you guys can experience it and then tell me, because screenshots and looking at this video feed is not a true representation of how you'll experience it, right? Because everything is scaled depending on things. Night mode, have a flat. I could change the font for dark mode too. Yeah, I could do a different font for dark mode. There's not different weights for this. Okay. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks guys for being honest. Yeah, we need to do testing for sure. Yeah, the thing with having a different font option, Comic Sans. You guys are funny. if you're new to PaperDemon and you come in and you can't read the website and you leave, like, I mean, most people aren't going to expect that there's an option to change the font, right? So I think ideally it should be accessible to begin with. Because I don't know that people would know to go look for an option to change it. And there's already a million things on the page trying to get your attention. So telling people like, hey, there's this feature to change your font, like, when there's already a million other things telling you, hey, you can interact with this thing too. So I think it's I'm concerned that if it's not accessible to begin with, people will just leave. Right? Exactly, yeah. We could make it a theme. Like we talked about themes before. Maybe there's a theme that makes the font different. And it's like an opt-in rather than an opt-out. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Opt-in to sans serif. The other challenge with having different fonts is most likely the opt-in experience is going to have bugs in it, because when I'm testing things out, I'm not going to go in and I'm not going to QA every single theme. I'm going to have to rely on the community to tell me. Same thing with dark mode. Dark mode has bugs. I'm not testing things in dark mode usually. So having the community tell me, hey, this thing doesn't work in dark mode, and then I go fix it. I'd have to do the same thing for themes. And it's more work, right? For me too. Also, not just for testing, but for doing the bug fixing, right? And I'm only one mod. So I think having different, I don't know. It's an experiment we can do. I'm hesitant to do it though. Different themes with different fonts. Oh, Suki, you said going to the settings and fumbling with them is the first thing you try to do. Making pick your mode a part of sign up. I would not do that because I think it's more important that we focus on getting the person into the game and the community and start playing as soon as possible. So anything like that, that's like a minor optimization, is not really important to the core experience of starting to play. I would rather just make it accessible from the start and have something less accessible but opt in if you're looking for it. Yeah, because I can't present every single setting to a person when they come in. That's overwhelming. I think the most important thing is when someone comes into PaperDemon that they can read it from the beginning, navigate it from the beginning, and start playing right away and create a character. I get adding a skip for now, but that stuff, it's still a decision that the player has to make where they may abandon. So every action that you're requiring the person to make is a chance that they'll say, I don't want to make a decision. I don't want to do this right now. And then they bail. That's part of the reason why we changed the character creator to begin with. Is when we started, we recently changed this character creator to when you're creating a character, deciding on a name is hard. Just generate one. And coming up with an idea for a character is hard. So we give you some ideas to start with, right? Yeah, like little stuff like that, I don't think should be part of the introductory experience. Yeah, a fun art game should not be like a Windows setup. Yeah, exactly, Cbran. You have to consider what is the most important thing for the player when they first come into this experience. And changing fonts is like low on the priority list unless there's an accessibility concern where they have to choose a font in order to make it more accessible, and there's a lot of people that would fall into that bucket. And if I can just make it accessible from the beginning, then I don't need to present that as an option. And it's also something people aren't used to, right? Maybe it's something people are used. I don't know if like AO3 has a thing where you change your fonts. If people are used to that and the option is presented to the person at the time that they're most likely to need it, like they're viewing a writing submission, for example, that I would be okay with, but not part of the initial setup. Yeah, make these updates easier to understand and navigate. Yeah, that's mainly what I'm going for here. Also making it a little nice. I want the guides to be more visually appealing. Like this is a draft and somewhat messy, but I would love to have more guides that have more graphics and nice layout and nice visuals, because a lot of our guides right now are I don't know. They're not I don't think they're that good visually. They're kind of messy. So I want to make them better. Same for the portals. I think there's just too much text. Text. There's so much text. Hi, Alan. Welcome to the stream. Wix website partner, huh? Vertical scrolling is your main pet peeve. What do you mean by that? Yeah, so I'm gonna work with Shiro. Shiro's gonna help me redesign a lot of the guides. Add more visuals, add better layouts. I have some things in mind. I've got some ideas. We're gonna cut down some content too. Takes ages to scroll to the bottom. Okay, so for like a challenge like Aridin, for example, do we maybe need a table of contents on some of these where it just kind of generates. It takes all the headings in the page and it generates a table of contents and then it appears at the top. Is that maybe something that makes sense? Or it could be something that appears on the left bar or something when you're viewing a guide. A lot of wikis do that. I think it helps with accessibility too, because you kind of get a rough idea of what's on the page without having to scroll the whole thing. Let me write this down. That's really helpful for mobile too. Contents rewards to images. Yeah, we're gonna definitely do that. I think Yeah, changing this section, you're referring to that, and making it more like what we have on... Where's the latest prompt? Making it more like this, you're saying. Yeah, for sure. We're going to go back and update all of them like that. If it's easier to get to how do I participate, that's better. Yeah, okay. Yes. Another thing I'd like to do related to this, art and writing requirements, we really only have like 3 different flavors of this. And right now we have to copy paste it in all the events. And I want to change it so that this is stored in like a HTML fragment, I guess, on the website, and then it just plops it in there. So that anytime we update these requirements, it just automatically updates on all the guides. On where are the account settings? That's a good question. I need to add that. Where was I gonna put that? Yeah, settings is not accessible right now in the new nav. I could add it to the profile here. Like you click on your name and then you get there. I could also add a gear icon. Maybe I should do that. Yay, PHP? Why is that something to be happy about? Where did you see that? Okay, add account settings. I think I'll add it in both places. I'll add a gear here, and then I'll also add a link here. I think this already goes there. Yeah, so this has, oh, that's a bug. Okay, gear icon sounds like a good idea. Okay, I'll have to figure it out on mobile because there's not a lot of space. I don't think, unless I change this to just the cart icon without the word cart, which is probably okay. I think people know what a shopping cart is. The other thing I wanted to show you guys, shop here is gonna have multiple links now. I need to add Patreon in here actually too. So, because there's not just the item shop, there's the gachapon machine and the custom companions and stuff. So I'm gonna add those all here so it's easy to get to, because some of that stuff is hard to find. Okay, Eclipse asks, I haven't checked and don't remember, so sorry if I'm mentioning something already incorporated, but what about tags? Like if you wanted a certain type of prompt, you could select the tag. Making the shopping cart icon only visible when there's items in the cart. Yeah, I could do that. So as far as tags on prompts, related to that, so currently the website sees prompts not as like these separate fragments of prompts that we could attach metadata to, but more so as like a big text document. So if we open up this RDN portal, for example, there are 5 prompts, 6 prompts. Oh wow, there's 6. So it doesn't see each of these as a separate entity. So if we were going to do like tags, we'd need to do that as a separate entity. Now we are planning to do that because we want to actually make these prompts kind of dynamically presented to you. Character tags is planned, yeah. So we're going to add tags to characters so you can search characters by whatever. But in terms of the prompts, we're going to change kind of the way that these are stored. So if we wanted to add tags to them in the future, we could. But first we have to change the data storage of these prompts to be dynamic, because right now it's basically a big, here I'll just show you, it's basically a big document, right? It's like a wiki page, which was fine to get us started, but what we really want to do is change the game to be more dynamic. Like let's say you completed some of these prompts and then new ones are then available because you completed the other ones. Or maybe you visited Avantgarde and now something in another portal becomes available to you. Or depending on your character's rank, new prompts become available. And in order to do that, we had to completely move away from this idea of wikis, basically, and store those prompts in a database and have them only presented in certain contexts. I mean, technically we could just change this to say rank 3 characters only if we wanted to. Just as an example. I'm not saying I'm doing that, but we could do that. But I actually like the idea of after your character ranks up, when you go to the inn, it presents to you, hey, your character Gerald just ranked up. This new adventure has opened up for you. Like it kind of like dynamically presents quests and challenges based on your progress. Especially given that there's so much content and it's hard to know what order to do things in. Yeah, that sounds really cool. Gives more reason to want to rank characters up. Yeah. Later this year, specifically, the first thing that we're going to try to do with that is we're going to introduce missions, which it's a completely separate set of challenges that are random. Every month you'll get assigned a random one. You can generate one. It's not, sorry, I'm not explaining this. We'll basically have a set of prompts, and some of them will be tied to certain classes. Some of them will be assigned to certain ranks. And every month you could roll to see what prompt your character got. And then you can choose to complete that prompt or not, and it comes with certain rewards. Like, for example, there might be a specific prompt that gets you a Valai crystal if you complete it. And it would, you know, let you know about that in the inn somewhere. Wouldn't that be confusing when things pop up out of nowhere? Would it be more clear to know from the get-go what you can access and when? I mean, certainly we could have a guide that explains it, but I think given the amount of content we have and that we're adding, and it's too complicated, I think, for a player. Yeah, I think if you think about it from the perspective of a video game, like, you complete a certain level or mission or whatever, and after that, an NPC comes to you and explains, like, progresses the story and gets you access to something new that wasn't there before, and it builds upon the lore of something else you've already completed, right? There's more context to it that can be there that you can't have unless you complete some things in a sequence, right? And given how much content there is, it's really hard to know where to go next. I personally like the random unlocks out of nowhere like old video games. Yeah, I think what's nice about that too is it kind of keeps the site fresh. I just like to know where I'm heading, what I'm reaching toward. Okay. I'll have to think on that. Sorry, I'm just jotting down some notes. Okay. I have a thought on that, on CPRAN, on your feedback. As an idea. Let me just put together a little document here. So what if you had like what if there was a page that you could link from your character sheet that showed you a list of adventures, and then it might show you something like this. Like, you know that there's something coming. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I mean, another way we could do it is like a tree, a branching tree. I mean, we could probably do both, right? Like there could be a page that you click on from your character page that shows you kind of your game progress. I don't know if this document is really explaining it. Let me see if I could Google for a picture. That kind of explains what I... have in mind. Okay. Like, what if, imagine that this is a skill tree, but imagine it's not a skill tree. Hold on. I gotta check my calendar really quick because I think I have to leave soon for something. Let me just check. Okay, I still have 10 minutes. I gotta end the stream soonish. Like imagine that you have like almost like an adventure map. This is hard to implement, guys, so I don't know if I can actually do this. But basically for each character, you would have like a map of like, when you start, you only have access to these core challenges in the beginning, and as you explore, it unlocks more things. It's almost like a quest story tree of sorts. Because the nice thing about this is it allows us to do more story, because we can have events that build upon other events that happen, right? The only issue with this, though, is this may not be a good idea, because I think, I don't know, I got to think about it. PaperDemon is a collaborative game. People adventure together. We like that the community is participating in something together at the same time, right? So this is more of a solo experience of sorts. Although if you imagine PaperDemon being 10 times bigger than it is now, you could have groups of people basically going through these adventures together. But just like imagine that you can't access all adventures, but as you have some choice in the beginning, and you can kind of expand out as you complete certain quests. New ones unlock. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? No one's saying anything, so. Not that we have to show people this tree, but I think that if we can actually do both what Val and Cpran are suggesting, which is in the inn, when you unlock something, you complete something, it kind of tells you, hey, you have, it gives you that surprise, like, hey, you have completed this thing, you've unlocked this other thing. You've unlocked quest 2. You've completed the first avant-garde quest. Quest 2 is now unlocked. And it would tell you, so it would kind of be a surprise, I guess. Unless you go into your character sheet and then you look at the full chart. So you could do both, I guess. You'd get the notification that something new is available, but you also could go and look at this chart if you wanted. Okay, Suki says that immediately feels limiting, and like if you are behind, you're being penalized for being new or slow. Here comes a new challenger. I don't know if it penalizes you. I think it's a way of revealing things. Would these unlocks be retroactive if implemented? I mean, we can, like, we can, it depends. It depends on how we do it. Like, because we're completely going to revamp all the portals with new prompts. So if we were to do this, I don't know that we would need to be retroactive with it. But I mean, if we needed to, we could. That way you don't have to, we wouldn't want you to have to recomplete old stuff that you already did. To be clear, we won't force you to do that. We'll figure out a way to, if we have to do it manually, we could, or whatever. Or we'd only do this with brand new stuff. But you have to also consider, like, if you're new and you have all these options available to you from the start, how do you know where to go? Of course, I wouldn't want you to have to redo everything. And not that everything would be locked. Just maybe some stuff that's more story driven. Like, if we're going to be adding more complex things, like, for example, campaigns. Let me find those real quick. Just link in here to this. So I think most players have not seen this. But we have these, like, interactive story campaign things. Where it's a story and you get to choose the direction the story goes. And at the end of each chapter, it presents you with a prompt. So kind of like this idea of doing more stuff like this. Like, you have to complete the first chapter before you can go to the second, because it's a progression of a story. Yeah, I wouldn't want existing characters to suddenly be locked out of a bunch of stuff that they had access to before, to be clear. I wouldn't do that. I was thinking of this more for brand new stuff. Brand new content that we'd add. So, like, adding a brand new campaign or quest or something that has multiple steps and that you have to complete these things in a sequence. Exactly. Thank you, Gold. Gold is explaining it better than I am. Like, currently we already have portals locked, right? There's a lot of portals that are freely available, so you have a choice of, you know, these ones that are green, you can go to them at any time, right? And then some of the prompts in there require a potion, for example. And some of these require a junket tank. So if you want to go to Eventide Ring, you need to unlock it with a junket tank. So I think it's just a different way that we do an unlock, which allows us the flexibility to also present the player with certain information at the right time. But yeah, we can always figure out a way that, like, existing players already have things unlocked, or we track which things people already completed and update the database. Yeah, unlockable portals or something. Suki, I think your message got cut off. Wiggle in regardless of the real world time. I'm not sure I follow. We also have some quests that are tied to specific portals. Like we have this Decra Drain quest, which is tied to Arden. I like the idea of, so this I think came out after Arden was, the portal was released. So I kind of like the idea of changing this so that you can't do this quest until you've completed Arden. Like you have to go to Arden first before this Decra Drain quest is revealed, type of thing. And having it automatically track that you went there, and then it reveals to you, hey, you unlocked this thing. So these are just ideas, by the way, guys. I'm not saying that we're for sure going to do it. I know for missions we are going to do it that way, where like there will be basically this database of prompts, and each one will have certain conditions in which it'll be available. So it'll be dependent on your rank, your class, and your reputation. So we're going to add a new stat for character reputation. So if you're like more of a, if you have a good reputation or you have a bad reputation, that will impact which types of things are available to you. And we need to refine that idea and get feedback from the community, but that's one we have planned for this year. Makes the game more dynamic and fun and fresh, and allows us to create a bunch of content that we can create once and continues to be new and fresh for players. Reputation stinky. Yeah. Okay, guys, I gotta wrap this up. If you have more thoughts on this, let me know in the Discord. If someone wanted to start a thread or something in the suggestion box, and we could toss around some more ideas for this. It could be something like alignment instead of reputation, but it needs to be simple. And I was thinking it would be something like, depending on what types of things you do in the game, it affects your reputation. But I don't want too many options, because that means we have to make way too many prompts. So something simple, like a good versus bad versus neutral. Something that felt kind of demotivating is how it felt that if you weren't active around from the beginning of the game, you couldn't go back and do the content missed. Yeah. That's fair. We'll have to see how we might handle that. We have to kind of pick a direction on how we want to go with it. Let me write that down. C-Pren says, that's how I feel about staying active. I'm scared I'll miss something. Yeah, some of it is like collaborations that we did with other creators. And so when we collaborate, we usually want it to be only available for that limited time. We don't want it always available. Because we're using someone else's IP, right? And some of it is because when you add new stuff, it kind of keeps the game fresh. I'm not sure how to handle the issue, though, because I know C-Pren, you like to complete everything. And I missed the winged cat portal. Oh, yeah. That was a collab with Amaru. Let me find that. I don't know if that was in the title. The search is so slow. Why is it not working? Does anyone remember the... I think it was Jagana Valley. That's what it was. Why is this search so slow? I don't know why this is so slow. Wow, it's taking like 10 seconds to do this search. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Gold says, it does suck to miss things, but I know that with a game like this, events will be missed sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, collabs, Unlikely Valentine. Yeah, collabs are a slippery slope of legality. Yeah. I can't get this thing to load, but yes, there was an event. Maybe it was archived. Oh yeah, here it is. So this was the event that was a collab with Amaru. The mental health pet simulator. Yeah. So we've got quite a few things that are like that are collabs with other content creators and games and stuff. And yeah. And yeah, we have the book, Suki, yeah, we have the bookmarks and junket tanks, so you can go back and do old stuff. I mean, a lot of that was like thinking about from the perspective of people, like in terms of monetization, people have, there's two resources, right? People have time, or they have less time and have money. So like if you wanted to participate in something but don't have the time because you're busy working, you probably have the resources to spend money too. Yeah, I have to go. You're right. I have to go. I could talk all day about this stuff. I appreciate the feedback. Let me see if there's any other comments in here that I didn't address. I honestly don't know how... I feel like I have to think about what you said, Cpran. Like, how do we handle the situation of someone who wants to complete everything? And the amount of content we want to add. I could imagine Portal starting with one prompt to gain trust, reputation, and then after completing it, you have more natural reason for multiple quest options from the townsfolk. Yeah, I like that. Before we go, let's do a giveaway. Can you guys all drop your username in the chat? And we'll do a quick giveaway. What do we usually do? We do tokens. I don't remember how much we usually do. Go back and look through my notes. Is Zach Wolf also... If Zach Wolf's also watching, someone let me know if they are, and I could add them to the giveaway too. Add him to the, sorry, wrong pronouns. Add him to the giveaway. I apologize. Okay, Zach and Faf. Okay, that's fine. I can add you both. Videos. 25 tokens is usually what we raffle. Okay. Okay, let me add you guys to the wheel. Lulabelle, Seapran, Unlikely Valentine. Docgrin, Fordandra. Actually, Ford, you're a staff member. I apologize. I'm gonna leave you out of this one. Forever Nature. Zackle, Fafner. Eclipse 333. Did I miss anyone? Yeah, I'm looking for the username, not the character. Did I miss anyone? I think I got everyone. Boop, 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 boop. Yes, I think that's everyone. All right, let's spin the wheel. Boop, 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 boop. Oh my god, that was so close. Da 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 da. Congratulations, Forever Nature. Tokens are coming into your bank. Paper dispatch giveaway. Party popper. All right. I did that right? Yes, tokens. Congratulations, Forever Nature, on winning that giveaway. I will see you guys. We're going to do another paper dispatch. We're doing them monthly now, not weekly, so that I can spend some more time on updating the website. I've got a lot of stuff to do. So I appreciate you all giving your feedback. I will figure out what to do as far as the fonts and stuff. And I'm also going to try and hang out in the Discord live and do some live coding to rapid iterate on feedback that the community gives. And as a reminder, we do have a meetup coming this Saturday in the Discord server. So we're going to hang out and draw. I might even not draw and just work on the code and get feedback. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I gotta decide. So if you log in and go to the inn, it'll show you the countdown. You can also just join the Discord to see when the meetup is. It'll show up in the events section of the Discord server. There is a link to the Discord server in the description, so if you're not already in there, check it out, which I think you're all in there. But if anyone's watching this stream and isn't already a member of the community, by the way, if you're new, you're just hanging out and watching this video recording of a stream and you have no idea what PaperDemon is, remember, PaperDemon is an online free art role-playing game where you adventure with your original characters. You go battle monsters, complete quests, and make new friends as you draw your way through the Paperverse. Link is in the description. Thank you all for joining. I will see you next time. Stay tuned for the schedule for the next paper dispatch. So bye everyone. Bye Lulabelle, Seapran, Unlikely Valentine, Doc Grin, Fordandra, Forever Nature, Zackle, Fafner, Eclipse. Thank you all for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop. Okay, change my screen. And I need a new end screen, guys.